Let's talk about 4D Server. 4D Server is a software product that runs on a server machine. EXmedic is a software product that runs on top of 4D Server. 4D Server is a sort of agent between all the movements on the network and the disk. For instance, if EXmedic writes something to disk, it does not send that directly to the disk. It sends an order to 4D Server to place that block of data in the 4D data file. So it is sort of a traffic manager. A 4D data file is comprised of a large number of pointers. It's a sort of web of pointers that during operations constantly move. And it is not impossible that during these operations errors exist, or errors are caused, primarily because of malfunction of the power supply. It doesn't happen very often, it rarely happens, but it can create bugs. And in some cases, it's not even possible to open the data file anymore if the accumulated anomalies are sufficiently severe that 4D Server will detect a requirement to repair the data. To repair the data, we have to quit the running server. Here. It sends a message to all the connected clients, allows them to shut down correctly, and then shuts down on the server machine. So 4D Server now goes down. We can launch 4D Server via this alias. This alias points, in fact, to here. Here is the 4D Server, here's the EXmedic server folder in which we have here EXmedic 20 PM+EMR. So in order to launch the server, we can click on this EXmedic alias that in response opens EXmedic on the server. So double click, and we are now back up. I'm quitting again, and for a reason. Because now we're going to look into a special 4D Server module. We double click with the Option key, the Alt key on Windows, Option key on Macintosh. Okay, here, click, and now I keep the, no, I missed it, because it's very short. Do it again, double click, and yes, see, double click and then immediately keep the Option or the Alt key, which gives us here a certain number of additional 4D Server capabilities. One of them, and that's the one that we're now interested in, is the Maintenance and Security Center. So we continue, and then we have again a series of options. I will not go over most of them here because we're interested here in the repair function only. He knows that he is connected to this data file. This data file is what can be found here in the data folder. See, here is the data file, the 4DD data file. So we are now working on the 4DD data file, and we have two repair options: standard repair and recover by record headers. Most of the time, I cannot actually remember that I ever needed to go beyond the standard repair. Most of the time the standard repair will do. But it could be that the data is so heavily damaged that you need to go one step further, and then a recover by tags, we call this. Recover by headers, recover by tags. Okay, we say repair. Now, he will go through all the data and check if any anomalies exists with those records. If they exist, it will try to repair them. Most of the time, it is possible to repair them. And then at the end, it will tell us if the data file is now in good health or not. Now, since this is a massive operation, it may very well be that this takes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour. I will not continue this video at this point and only switch back to recording when we are at the end. Okay, so now we are back at the dialog, and it says that the data file has been repaired. The original data file that showed some difficulties is not deleted. It remains, let me show you here, it remains here in the data folder as a repaired file. See, this is what we just did. And a new data file has been created from scratch. That is for safety reasons. Once we have verified that a specific replaced file is correct, okay, here, we may delete those to save some disk space. Are they not being deleted? What's going on? Okay, do it again. Permanently delete them. Yes, oh, okay, he was still thinking about it. Okay, so this is the one that we needed repair on. See, here's the 4DD that needed repair. And this is the new one now created. So we can quit 4D again. The application is in fact 4D server. You can quit this again. And we can launch EXmedic on the server again. And now we have it with the repaired data file. You will see now that he starts to re-index, because in the repair procedure all indexes were wiped out, and when reopening with a repaired data file, for the server detects missing indexes and will recreate them from scratch. That is actually an additional security, because if there is data problems on a data file, it very often is in the indexes and not in the actual data. So that is why once the data file has been fully repaired and verified, it is very useful to start with fresh indexes. This operation also takes a little while because it goes through all the data and on every corner of the street there will be indexes that need to be recreated. Once this process has finished, for the server on top of for the server with EXmedic loaded will be presented in the usual desktop window. Let's wait and see if we can fit this in the length. Yeah, so we're approaching the end. Prescriptions is somewhere in file number 80. I think we have to do 120 or 130, 132 in total. And if there is more data in one table, in this case the prescriptions table, it takes longer than some smaller. Okay, this is interesting that I waited, because we see now that we need to recreate a new log file. Create, make sure that we have that in the data of the real production folder. We can say save, and we want the backup to start at the next run. And now we're back, and we see that it automatically, for safety reasons again, wants to preserve all the work that has been done by recreating a new backup file. Okay, I will stop this video now, because this will take another 20-30 minutes, and that's not useful. For now, you've seen that you're back with a running 40 server and a repaired data file.